It's important to have the same order. A very good afternoon, everybody. Well, I hope it is with you. This is Patricia and David, Zulu Mike Hotel 286 Gulf Harbour Radio. And I tell you what, we do not have a good afternoon here. It is snotty, but it's still 17 degrees. Thank you for the nice northerly winds coming down, 10 to 15 knots now actually, 1026.1 on the bar, 100% cloud cover of course, and rain. And in fact, well, we shouldn't complain about the rain here in the far north at the moment, because there has been a state of emergency just issued for the west coast of our South Island, New Zealand, which is going to get hit first. 1 metre, can you believe it? 1 metre of rain is due there over the next 2 days. You know, we've got, as David's been talking about, this very big anticyclone that's moving to our east. It's over 1035, 1036, I think it's over. Then there's the one on Queensland centred, and then there's the low in the middle. And boy, are we going to get weather. It is going to be extremely snotty. It's starting in the hitting the west coast of the South Island first, and then it's sort of moving up. We'll get the worst of it tomorrow night going into Thursday, which will be...
Weather is exciting and climate is boring.
David has just said weather is exciting and climate is boring. Okay, well, thank you for that. You may go back to your place. All right, but I just thought I'd explain that because we'll now know why there is rather strong winds that Haydar and Marilyn are experiencing going towards Fiji, not too far away now. So I'll be talking about that soon. But just a couple of other bits of maritime news. The Corinth Canal, or Canal, should I say, they call it the Corinth Canal, has reopened again for those that are thinking of going to Europe. Those in Micronesia, it's now open for people to visit, which is interesting because Majuro has hit an incredible number of COVID cases, and it's the very contagious Omicron B5. 10% of the population in Majuro evidently have COVID at the moment, so things are a little bit difficult there, but none of you will be going there in the very near future. There was an interesting, I won't go into it too much, but there was an interesting article I read today. It was in the New York Times, actually, about lightning. And you may not know it, but at sea, way out at sea I'm talking about, you get only about 10% of the lightning strikes that occur on land. And there hasn't been much science involved in this over the years, but there has been a group that have been studying what the reason is. And it's quite interesting, actually. They showed, the researchers showed that aerosols smaller than a few millionths of an inch, I mean really, really tiny particles like dust and soot associated with airborne pollution, tended to boost the frequency of lightning for a given amount of rainfall. So over land and in fact over shipping channels, big shipping channels where you've got a lot of pollution from big ships. But anyway, mostly over land, of course. These fine aerosols function like miniature landing sites for the water within the clouds, and liquid tends to stick to them, building up the droplets. And because of the presence of water in the clouds, this sets up an intense electric field that then leads to lightning. So basically, what you can remember is dirty air leads to lightning. But for air that's got salt, which is of course much bigger particle in its air, such as sea spray, it's basically, how to explain this? The lack of the soot and the tiny particles, but with the salt in it, it basically reduces the possibility of lightning. So it's absolutely all quite scientific. Hang on, we've got a comment from the peanut gallery here. Oh, when I'm done. Oh, thank you very much. So anyway, storms exposed to high levels of sea salt you just don't get the lightning that you're going to get with the tinier spots, because it suppresses it, which is good for those at sea, because I'm sure people like those on Maryland at the moment with the very strong winds would really not want to be experiencing lightning as well as the strong winds. Having said that, let's see if we can copy them. Marilyn. Oh, he wanted the microphone. Sorry. Here he is.
Boy, oh boy, you can't get good help these days. Look at those. The reason I wanted to butt in here was to talk of aerosols, and this is a studies that have been going on for over a decade now, and it has to do with the hurricane formation in the North Atlantic. We all know, all the meteorologists know, that the origin of all of this is basically Africa. And what they're surmising, in many cases, are attempting to prove that when you get these big dust storms, where as the wind prevails from east to west, this dust filters out, but the really, really tiny ones are the size of aerosols. And it's postulated that they are actually the cause of tropical cyclones. It's quite involved. I did a short little white paper on that. I may dig it up if anybody's interested. But, I mean, I suppose it doesn't matter. All you're interested in are coconuts and clear water. But it's kind of interesting if you are into weather and what causes it and whatnot. But, yes, sir, beware the aerosols.
And beware the radar noise. I'm told on streaming here, a report from Lupan, that it's started up again. I think we're going to be seeing more of that as things get a bit tense in the Southwest Pacific. Okay, let's see if we can find Marilyn. I will tell you that at noon today, they had 30 knots from the south-southeast, 3 metre swells, quite choppy. They've had that 30 knots overnight, and in fact, I think they'll be getting it until they're really in the lee of Viti Levu. Anyway, it's after the beam, so they're quite happy. There's not a lot of sail up, so we'll see how they're going. Marilyn, Gulf Harbour Radio.
Right, Gulf Harbour Radio there. Yeah, so got everything correct. It's still 30 knots, but the sea is the basis now that we're in the lee of 50 on. So, thanks, over.
Well, that's good. And you're smelling the barn. It's not so bad when you know you don't have far to go. And this time tomorrow you'll be feeling much happier, and the noise will be down. It's funny when you've had wind like this for so long, when all of a sudden you're in a sheltered anchorage, it feels quite eerie, doesn't it? Do you want to, you've still got the same 30 knots south-southeast, I presume all is well. You're doing a pretty good speed, and to save you having to give your exact position, I'll tell you what the position is now, folks. 1901, so they've done well there. 17740, and you've actually got Harbour 350 miles behind now. Harbour is going to be experiencing this wind for quite some time. But yes, you haven't got far to go, Jeremy, so I hope all goes well for your last night. Over.
Yeah, thanks for that. We'll probably go through the Valhalla in the middle of the night and be anchored on the quarantine ball in the morning. Everything goes to plan, and thanks for your watch, thanks for your weather, and we'll listen, but we probably won't call it tomorrow night. We'll be in a bar.
Yep, I'm sure you will be. It's well, you knew you were going to get a fast passage, and it has been fast, and at least the wind has been in a good direction for you. So, has Marilyn got any problems, or is all good on the boat? Over.
Still on the boat. It could be a bit of a handful, but
Okay, all right. Well, I'm just trying to get you a bit stronger, but we'll leave you be, and well, hopefully you'll have a very nice time in the bar tomorrow this time. Okay, clear with Marilyn. Just see if Haydar is on frequency. Still haven't managed to make contact with them on the radio. Haydar, are you there? Nothing heard, and I know people are following you, so I'll give the position 24 degrees south exactly, 17851 west, and still going to be having a good 30 knots for another couple of days. They are doing quite a good speed though, 5.8 knots on a course of 351. So they've got 3 days to go at least. The longitude, David, is 17853 west. Did I say west?
Yep.
If I didn't, I apologise.
No, you said it.
Yep, okay. All right, let's go to much more placid waters away from this confounded high and see if we can find Toria Gulf Harbour.
Yeah, it's nice and sunny here. We got about 10 to 15 knots from the west, unfortunately. Over.
10 to 15 from the west. Give me your position, over.
My position is 24 degrees 30 south, 154 degrees 37 east.
Okay, 2430 south and 15437 east. Caution speed, over.
Yeah, that's not too good. We're just slowly popping to windward at the moment. We're doing about 4.5, 5 knots, and we're going in a northwesterly direction. But we're just short tracking, trying to stay on the line to the top of the island.
Okay, on the line, I missed where you're on the line to, something islands, over.
Yeah, we're just heading towards the top of Fraser Island, and then we're going to tailor a course to Gladstone.
Ah, got you. So you're heading to Fraser Island. I actually know where that is, off the coast of Harvey Bay there, and then you're going to head to Gladstone. Okay, alrighty, we've got that. So, all right, David was just a bit puzzled there. We didn't realise you had moved from Mackay to Gladstone. All right, so I'll just pass the microphone. He's looking at things there.
No, not unless he has a question.
No. Any questions about the weather, over?
We're still reasonably happy. We weren't expecting a westerly. We listened to the Australian meteorological forecast this morning, so we're expecting a southwest change and some southerly tomorrow, which should give us a good run into Gladstone.
Yeah, David's just looking at what's going on here. I'll pass the microphone. They've got this westerly at the moment. Weird.
Well, I don't see any of that you're talking about, unless I've got your latitude wrong. You're 2430, I think Trish had said. Let me see. Why do you have winds that are coming out of the west? Hang on a minute.
There's that trough that's going on.
Yeah, the only thing that we can see here, there's a sequence of cloud that are cyclonic and flowing, so it's quite possible that there's like a little mini low right there. Offshore, there is a low, for a fact, quite a ways offshore, but it wouldn't affect you in as close as you are now. So why that is, I don't know. But then looking at, tomorrow, pretty much southerly is what I've got for you, give or take on that. And then on Thursday, I've got essentially southerly quadrant. It could be south, southeast, south, southwest, right in there, and not much wind out of that, maybe 10, 12, 13 knots like that, but true direction, yeah, 170. So, yeah, pretty much southerly for you for the next 2 days. So we'll see what really happens. Over.
Yeah, that sounds good. That sort of aligns with what meteorology is forecasting for us for the week today. So we're just sort of, yeah, I guess holding a position here until the winds become favourable, and then we'll just go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold where they are and then go.
Are you able to get the distance that you are from shore now, which isn't very far, relatively speaking? Are you able to get coastal forecasting via VHF where you are? Over.
Negative, not yet. We'll just listen to it on HF. So we just listen to the top corner of Fraser Island on HF this morning. So we'll listen to it later on. But this westerly, we've had a very, very light westerly all day, so we've been noting. It was only probably about 2 to 3 hours ago that the westerly picked up a bit. But it seems to be dropping off now, which is good. And then I'm expecting it during the night to go to the southwest.
Yeah, well, that's good. It's good that you can get wind and other meteorological data from the other station there. Is somebody else on frequency? Hang on.
No, it's you.
Oh, that's me. What was I going to say? Yeah, the problem with being so close to shore, with the modeling that we've got, these are global models, and I'm talking to everybody now. So what I'm saying, you may know perfectly well what I'm talking about. But when you get grids that are 10, 15, 20, even sometimes, depending upon the scale that you pick on your model, you can get up to 50-kilometer grids. And you're never going to pick up the little bits, the little changes in wind direction and that are actually happening that the global models, and by global I'm talking about GFS, ECMWF, that type of thing. Those models are global models, and they're really not designed for coastal navigation or coastal weather. So anyway, quite interesting stuff. Okay, back to the chief here.
Yeah, I was just interested myself to have a look at what's happening in there on the GFS. It looks, yes, that cloud is really, there's nothing showing up here where you are, though. It's really quite frustrating as you are determining. But anyway, it's not horrible conditions. So as you say, good idea just to hang about and then make use of the winds when they cooperate. All right, have a good night, you guys, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow. Over.
Yeah, okay, that's great. Many thanks for your assistance, and we'll listen out. And we'll hopefully be our last night, and we'll glad that all be well.
Yeah, roger that. We've only just gone to Gladstone by car, so I don't know too much about going into Gladstone, except that there seems to be an awful lot of overhead. They must do a lot of coal mining or something around. Is that the place where they had huge conveyor belts? I think it was. Yeah. Okay.
Hey, where was you getting the weather from? The local weather? What was?
All right. I don't think there's anybody. Oh, yes, there is. Somerset, Gulf Harbour Radio. Okay, good evening, Paul, and all aboard at Somerset. How's everything going? Over.
The wind picked up last night, so we had maximum gusts were up to 20 knots, so it wasn't a really bad night, and then it went back down to 50 knots, still easily. Now we have about 3 meters long, not so choppy. We're going along at 5 knots, and we're at 18 degrees, 01 south, 174 degrees, 52 east. Over.
And I've just got a bit confused with your current winds. Did you say 3 to 12 from the east? Over.
At the moment we have 15 knots from the east. Over.
Okay, 15 knots to the east now, but you did get it up to 20 knots last night. So it sounds all very pleasant on board Somerset. Are you flying that spinnaker of yours over?
No, we're not flying the spinnaker. It's a bit rolly, so it won't really hold, and the wind direction's always changing. We also did catch a bluefin tuna over.
I'd like to know what lure you've got. You seem to specialise in bluefin tuna, you guys. Tell you what, you would make an awful lot of money if you were heading for Tokyo. Well, eating well on board at Somerset. So what's your updated ETA at Tanner, over?
It looks like it's going to be Thursday. We're only doing about 5 to 6 knots, so looks like it's still Thursday, over.
Roger that. Yes.
Well, Paul, dig out your fancy foul weather jacket and your cool weather hat, because I think you'll probably need it coming in. Fairly active trough, going to run up and down the chain, pretty much north to south, following the chain, really. So winds east of you are going to be east, east-northeast, and then winds on the other side of the axis of the trough are south-southwest. So they're basically crashing into each other. Basically convergence is what we call it, and that's happening pretty much over the entire chain, and that is Thursday. Now that can change one way or the other. It could be a little bit sooner than that, or it could be later. If it's later than that, then you'll pick up those southerlies. But we'll see what happens. Not too far away, is it? Over.
Yeah, roger that. Thanks for the weather update, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Okay, and enjoy having some lovely bluefin tuna tonight. Okay, I think that's... Is there anybody else on passage that wants to check in? Please call. Yeah, David was just talking about the weather up and down the chain, and we were looking at Ambram for the folks that are interested in going to the Return to My Roots Festival, and it certainly looks like Friday is the day to be looking at the festival, not before that because of the anchoring situation. I'll just pass the microphone.
Yeah, thanks, Trish. And she's right. The models are just not taking care of that area very well at all. Yesterday when we chatted, we were looking at essentially winds coming right on the shore, basically northerly winds, and that was Thursday and Friday, which are the days of the festival. Well, now today they've changed their minds, and Friday looks like a pretty decent day as far as wind direction goes, vis-a-vis what the model is saying. And like I said yesterday, you really can't go by the model in a lot of these islands here in Vanuatu and particularly Ambram. So we'll have to see what happens. I really hope that you're able to get in there okay and anchor. The wind doesn't look all that strong. Still, you get nervous, I know, when you got your boat sitting out there and you're someplace else. So I'll hand this over to Trish. We'll see what it's like tomorrow.
Yeah, but looking at it from now, if we knew what we knew here, we probably wouldn't go to Ambram until as late as possible, probably on late Thursday afternoon, and then you'd be quite safe leaving the boat with the southerly quadrant winds to head off into the jungle for the festival on Friday. So at least you've got one good day, so that's good, and probably one day is worthwhile anyway. It is quite expensive. It's probably going to be about 9,000 baht, but I'm sure Lynn will find out and report back, and we'll know for next year. Okay, is there anyone with anything for Gulf Harbour Radio or anything else? Please call now.
Gulf Harbour Radio, this is Lupo calling. Over.
Yeah, Yeah, hi Pele, and I wonder if you've still got the radar noise there, but pretty good signal, over.
Okay, that's good. Yes, we have still high interference from the radar thing, I think. Otherwise, everything is nice here. We have been to a haircut today and also doing some buying of wine and Tusker beer. Over.
Yeah, the good thing about Vanuatu is that it does get the, well, not quite as good as Newcastle, but it certainly gets a good slice of French goods in there. So, and the good thing about all of the islands, we sort of didn't get round to telling you which of the islands have got a little French part, but those that do have a French part, you can always get fresh baguettes every day, over.
Patricia, this is Lupin. We lost you totally in this hell of interference from this radar thing. Anyway, everything is good here, and we are glad that you could hear us, and hopefully we can chat tomorrow and skip the radar thing down. Over.
Yeah, Roger. Very good copy here, and hello to both you and Ulla. Good copy here. Okay, is there anybody else? Yeah, hi Jonathan, how's it up there? I'm just looking, it looks a bit on the murky side, over.
It's started over this afternoon, and we are what we call here the Bommy Waloo. So it's quite breezy, over.
Yeah, quite breezy, all right. As you know, you'll have that for a bit, but that's why you're up there. And
haven't heard the Boggy Walla in a long time.
yeah, David said he hasn't heard the Boggy Walla or whatever it is for a long time. Is there anything else you want to add to Jonathan's breezy weather?
Where's he at now?
In the northern Lao there, in the Bay of Islands.
Hang
on a minute, we'll just sort of, he's just looking ahead.
I will find weather for you in a minute.
Yes, stand by. But it just, the satellite picture, well, it looks as if it's more than murky and cloudy. It looks a little bit dampish, but you didn't comment about any rain so far, Jonathan, over.
No, we really need some rain. We're actually in South for Northern Ireland, and I think the villages are going to run out of water in a month or so if we don't get some rain, over.
Goodness, they need to be in the southwest of the United States or on the west coast of New Zealand. 1 metre in the next couple of days, they would be probably ecstatic about that. There's been a lot of problems in the southwest of the USA too with very heavy rain, and yet in Europe, of course, it's the extreme opposite. So, yeah, there's not too much balancing act going on in the world at the moment. But I guess that's been the same for millennia. Anyway, here's David.
Yeah, hiya, Jonathan. How are things going tonight? Sounds pretty good here. The winds tomorrow throughout all the Lao, they're blowing. We're looking at northern Lao, which I think you're up in the Bay of Islands up there somewhere, I believe. We're going to be looking at 30-knot winds as a mean. So a lot of breeze coming out of the east, and jumping over to Thursday, it gets no better. In fact, I would say 30 to 35 knots on Thursday, and then jumping to Friday, we start to get a bit of an ease. The winds are going to be a little bit south of east. We'll call it east-southeast. Sort of, but just south of east. Best way to describe it. Up in the north, where you are, the Bay of Islands up there, we're looking at 25 knots, 25 knots, and actually that's the same for the entire Lao, up and down the Lao. On Saturday, it drops even more. We're looking at 20 knots. And pretty much out of the southeast, maybe east-southeast to southeast, and that's Saturday. How copy? Over.
That's all just got to be 20 days, and it's so rough here next category, government very rough as well. But I do have a general weather question for you if you have a minute, okay?
Yes.
Roger that, go ahead.
Yeah, listening to you over the years, I've learned a lot about what the high pressure systems do up here, and I think your rule of thumb, I think the last two digits of the high pressure equals the wind speed in knots up here is pretty much spot on. But you also talk about lows forming on the back end of these highs, and I've seen what they do up here. I seem to remember you might have published or printed something on this, but I can't find it. Do you have any background information on when these formed, please? Over.
Yeah, we do have that, and it should be on our website. Trish is going to take a look, but I certainly did do one, and it has to do as to low formation on the backside of highs. So we'll look for it and let you know tomorrow.
Send you a copy.
If we find it, or we'll send you a copy. Trish says, if in fact we do have it. But it's a topic that I wouldn't mind talking about again. So what I'll do is what I just said, and then if it fails, we don't have a copy in the file, then I will dig up my own personal one that I've got somewhere, and it'll take me about maybe a minute to go through it, and that'll give a description as to what it is, why it happens, and so forth and so on. So if you're up tomorrow, that could be a plan. Over.
Yeah, thanks, David. I'll just take them up tomorrow for that. I mean, I've seen the results of it here when people haven't been listening to you, and it's not pretty. But I think it may have fallen into forgetfulness that we've had very few yachts here for a while now, and all of a sudden there's yachts everywhere, are there?
Yeah, boy, they have certainly piled into Fiji this year, that's for sure. Well, because of the shutdown in French Polynesia and everywhere else. So, yeah, it's, well, these enhanced trades with these big anticyclones. And we've had a lot of them, haven't we, this year?
Yeah.
We are not complaining down here, of course, because we've had some quite pleasant weather. And until this coming week, it's been absolutely amazing. We didn't even get a load of firewood this year, and we've been managing to survive on what we've had left over from previous years, because with the northerlies, it is just not single-digit weather that we're getting, so that's really, really good. And, of course, the South Island ski fields are happy because they are getting the drops down there because it's hitting them first as the highs move away. But, of course, with the systems coming now, with everything clashing, we probably will not be so cheerful about it on Thursday when we talk. But anyway, we should just expect that we have to cope with it at some stage. But yes, enhanced trades and those lows forming on the back end, as if someone has poked their finger in the outside isobars. Well, David will talk about tomorrow night. So that's good. All right, folks, we will love and leave you and be back tomorrow night, where the weather will be somewhat worse even than it is here in New Zealand. So enjoy, even though you've got the wind in many parts of, well, certainly in Fiji, you'll certainly be better off than you will be here. Cheers, everyone, and we'll be back again tomorrow. Gulf Harbour Radio is clearing the frequency. It's all yours.